Hello. Hi, I'm Dr. Isabel, medical doctor, and I just want to ask you a question. Have you ever in your adult life looked in the mirror and thought, wow, I cannot believe I have been diagnosed with anxiety and depression? Well, if that's you, I totally get you. I've been in that space, and I want to share with you a little bit about my story so that you can get some hope from from where you are right now, because this is not going to be where you're going to be for the rest of your life. This is just part of the journey, okay? So my story started in 2013. I've been a medical doctor since 1991. And in 2013, I gave up private practice because I was just really frustrated with the way medicine was. I felt like I was just giving people pills and potions and drugs and not taking good care of themselves. So my husband and I got together and we agreed to start our business. So I gave away private practice, which I had only known, and a year later, I was 53, so I was menopausal, and not completely menopausal, but just, a couple years before menopause. And so here I am, a doctor, a wife, a mother, and a new entrepreneur, something that I had never learned in medical training, how do you start your own business, especially a business online, which I'm sure a lot of you ladies totally get. And this is what happened. I started feeling very overwhelmed and helpless, definitely hopeless. I was not thinking correctly, and I was really having a tough time falling asleep. I would get into bed and I'd be able to fall asleep, but I'd only sleep for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then bing, I'd wake up and start thinking, oh, this could happen, that could happen. And this happened for 17 nights. And after 17 nights of only getting 2 to 3 hours of sleep each night, I tried to take my life twice in 3 days. And that was totally interrupted. And I'm so grateful that that was stopped and that I'm alive here right now talking to you. And so what I did was my husband took me to the doctor, and the doctor said, this is a little too much over my head. You need to see a psychiatrist. And I don't know about you, but as a medical doctor, being told as the patient that you have to see a psychiatrist, I was like, oh no, I must be really bad. And I was really bad, but I didn't realize how bad I was. But anyway, so the psychiatrist said, Isabel, you need to be on antidepressants and just stay on them for the rest of your life. I was like, okay, so I'll be on my antidepressants for the rest of my life. Well, I don't think so, but right now I will. So I did. I stayed on my medication. I was very obedient, like a good girl, and I went on a 5-year journey. And that journey cost thousands of dollars, and I made a lot of mistakes. But here's what I found out. I found out all the different ways that people can become anxious and depressed that are not covered in medicine, are not covered in the way that I'm trained as a medical doctor. I was like, holy moly, we need to be teaching people this stuff. So what I did is I started understanding how I needed to fix my foundation, with my hormones. And oh my gosh, there's 14 areas that you need to kind of consider, but I'm not going into those 14 areas. And here's what happened is now I'm on the other side, thankfully. I'm off my antidepressants, but I did it because I got the foundation right. And I'm not against antidepressants. I'm not against medication. Hey, they work. They absolutely work. And if you're on them, stay on them until you get help with your doctor. But what happened is now I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling peaceful. I'm thinking clearly. I've got so much joy, and I figured out how to overcome anxiety and depression. And that's what I want to share with you. And over the last 2 weeks at this time, I've been talking about the 14 areas that we need to look at to take care of our brain health, you know, because it's really, I don't like the word mental illness, because it's not mental illness, it's just brain unhealthiness that we need to look at. It's just as if you've got a heart attack. If you've got a heart attack, you see the cardiologist, and the cardiologist puts you on medication to help you prevent another heart attack. And hopefully the cardiologist, but probably not, will talk to you about nutrition. But I would, so that you can prevent it. And people don't feel guilty and shameful for having a heart attack, but we feel shameful for having anxiety or depression. Well, my whole goal is to change that whole philosophy and help people understand that the brain is just another organ like your heart, and we just need to learn how to take better care of it. And that's what I'm here to do, okay? So we've gone through the first 10, and I'm going to talk to you about the last 4. So thought management is a big one. Now, a lot of people know it as mindset, but I've just changed it to thought management, because we really need to learn how to have productive thinking. We need to start looking at, how are we thinking? Are we seeing the glass half empty, or are we seeing the glass half full? Are we seeing things positively, or are we seeing things negatively? Are we seeing things with a critical eye, or are we seeing things with a beautiful eye? Like, wow, that person's so beautiful. Oh, thank you, Jean, for being here. I know, Jean. I was told I had to live with it too, but no way. That's why I'm here, is making my mess into the message and giving people hope, okay? And that's what we're doing here. So, thought management. Gosh, this one was really hard for me. I had to learn how to change my thinking. I had to realize that I don't have to ponder every single thought that comes into my mind. I can actually say, no, I'm not going to think that way. Here's a for instance. My daughter just had a birthday, and I don't know what was the matter with me, but she was in Melbourne and I'm in New Zealand, and I was talking to her, and my husband and I were both FaceTiming her. And I was looking at her, and I could tell that she was a little dusty. She had been partying the night before, and I'm her mom. And I said to her, oh, you're looking a little dusty. And you know how you feel when you've been drinking a little bit too much the next day. And she was like, gosh, Mom, yeah, but why are you pointing that out? And I was like, oh, I knew in my heart I'm focusing on the wrong thing. But guess what? I didn't stop there. No. I practice even more negative thought management. And then I looked at her and I go, looks like your hair's a little dry. It looks like it needs a little good conditioner. She's like, no, Mom, that's just the way. That's just the way my hair is. Oh my gosh. It just got worse and worse and worse. Anyway, my husband and I wished I just shut up. I was like, at that point, I was like, man, I gotta self-correct fast. And so I self-corrected quickly by just shutting up and not saying anything and just telling her how beautiful she is and how much I love her and stuff. But we finished the conversation. But here's the thing, and I hope this frees a lot of you. So afterwards, I had a little talk with myself, and I was like, Isabel, do you feel happy about that conversation you just had with your 25-year young daughter? Wow. And so what I did is I was totally honest with myself, and I said, no, I am not happy with the way I was, and I'm going to self-correct. And what I did was I just flipped her a 15-second video saying, hey, hon, I am really sorry for talking about you being dusty and telling you that you needed some conditioner in your hair. I mean, gosh, why did I do that? I don't know, but I don't like that I did that. And I'm just letting you know, I'm sorry, please forgive me. 15 seconds. The next day she watches the video and she calls me. She goes, Mom, no big deal. It's no big deal. Yes, I was dusty. Yay, she agreed, but it doesn't matter. And I love you and I forgive you. So what's my point? My point is you can self-correct your thought management. If you're thinking wrong, you can change it to right thinking. So learning how to become the boss of your brain, that's the biggest point I can take. Is the take home is become the boss of your brain. You're the boss of your brain. Your brain is not the boss of you, okay? So that's the 11th part of brain health. The 12th is spirituality. Now, a lot of people don't like to talk about spirituality, and I'm not going to get heavy duty on this, but we have to find out what we're here for. You know, whatever you connect to, if it's Zen or whatever. I'm a Christian, so I believe in God, and hey, Jesus is the way. Jesus teaches me how to do life here on earth. And so I know, because I've worked on this area, that people need to understand what's their purpose, what's their calling, what are they here to do? Are they here to help the earth? Are they here to help Mother Nature? Are they here to help people? I don't know. People need to find that out, and finding out and filling that hole. In Christianity, we have a hole. There's a saying that you've got a hole, and that hole is really empty until you start having a deep relationship with God and Jesus. You know, and people fill that hole in so many ways, like alcohol, pornography, gambling, adultery, so many other ways, and so many other addictions. So spirituality is key, and I'm not going to go any deeper on that because, gosh, that would be another part, okay? The 13th part is head trauma. So I don't know where you are in the world, but here in New Zealand, rugby is a big deal. And rugby is like football without a helmet or any protection. And football, because I'm from America. Could you imagine if your child went out and banged heads with other people, guys, big burly guys, and had head trauma without any protection at all? Well, that's what happens here in New Zealand, and I'm like, wow. But we know that head trauma affects our brain health. It swells the brain up. We get brain inflammation. So I always, when I work with people, ask, have you fallen off the jungle gym? Have you fallen onto your head? Have you had any motor vehicle accidents? Do you wear a helmet when you're bicycling? Have you gone unconscious? Have you vomited after a head injury? Have you had major headaches? You know, so head trauma, this organ, your head is so important. We got to take super care. We've got to be super diligent to take good care of your brain, okay? So many words in my brain. So head trauma is huge. And there's ways to decrease that inflammation, but we do know that football players, rugby players, soccer players, they do experience depression, and a lot of it and dementia also, because of the head banging with the ball or the head hitting another head. I mean, if you just look at the pounding, it's unbelievable. And that's really, gosh, I'm glad I didn't have any sons, because we would have had some big brawls prohibiting them from any contact sports. So what's my point? No contact sports for your kids. And if you're an adult, make sure you wear your helmet when you're riding your bike or your motorcycle. Make sure you wear your seatbelt. You want to avoid any damage to your brain, because your brain is like 2 pounds. It's like a 2-pound bar, or about a kg bar of butter inside of a hard case, and inside the case are some sharp edges. So can you imagine just a quick bump or a bang, you know, or, oh my gosh, wife abuse, any kind of physical abuse, just banging on the head if you're in a in a abusive relationship, that kind of banging on the head can bruise the brain and cause a lot of head trauma, which can lead to depression. And then the last one, the 14th, is blood flow. We need to make sure we got good blood flow to our brain. Your heart, let's think of your heart. Your heart has blood vessels, has like highways of blood vessels that go and give oxygen and nutrients to the heart so it can pound and beat for you for the rest of your life without you even thinking about it. Gosh, isn't that amazing? Well, the same thing happens with your brain. Your brain needs good blood flow all day long. And there are a lot of things that decrease our blood flow. One is caffeine. Caffeine constricts your blood that goes to your brain. So we don't recommend any more than 1 cup of caffeine a day at Doctor on a Mission, because you don't want to constrict your blood vessel. And gosh, energy drinks? Do any of you drink any energy drinks? I hope not. But energy drinks are loaded with caffeine. So make sure your caffeine intake is low. 1 cup is all you really need. The next way that you can increase blood flow to your brain, so you're thinking well, so you're avoiding anxiety and depression, is exercise. And I'm not talking heavy duty exercise. I'm just talking about exercise like walking a half an hour fast as if you're late for an appointment. No big deal. Just walk, and just as if you're late for an appointment. Be in a hurry. That's all I'm asking you to do. And that'll be enough oxygen pumping into your brain. Hypertension, high blood pressure. If your blood pressure is elevated, that means that the blood vessels are constricted. They're small. They're not big like they should be. They're constricted. So if you've got high blood pressure, you want to make sure that your blood pressure is under control. You want to get that taken care of, because if not, then your brain's not getting enough adequate blood flow. And we need good blood flow so that we can think clearer and avoid anxiety and depression. I know so many people, from me taking care of them, who have had a stroke, because a stroke is essentially no blood flow to a certain part of your brain, end up being anxious and depressed. So you want to avoid all those things. I know men and women who have had heart attacks. So what's a heart attack? A heart attack is cutting off blood supply to the heart. Okay? And then that area of your heart dies off. That's what a heart attack is. And after people have had a heart attack, they experience depression, because that same blood flow constriction also is happening to the brain. So less blood flow to the brain leads to a brain attack, anxiety and depression. Decreased blood flow to your heart leads to a heart attack. They're both organs. We got to take really, really good care of them. So I've topped off all 14 areas. Wow, I can't believe I did that in 3 weeks, but that's just touching the surface, okay? So before I go, I just want to let you know that I've started a private Facebook group called The Bossy Brain Solution, helping you overcome anxiety and depression so that you've got clearer thinking and long-lasting happiness. And we talk about all these areas, and it's open. All you got to do is just check the link in this video and just go ahead and answer a few questions and come join us, okay? We'd love to have you, and invite your friends, because you know what? We don't need to suffer. You don't need to suffer like I suffered. I want to shorten your suffering curve, okay? So that you don't have to go through what I went through, okay? Because it was ugly and messy, okay? So until next time, remain unstoppable and share that gorgeous smile of yours out in the world, because we so need it, okay? Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'll see you same time, same station next week. Bye.